Reference class forecasting, predicting construction success. In this video, I'm going to talk about a concept which is amazing that I want everybody to know and use in the pre-construction phases of your project. It's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to take you through exactly how to do it, how it fits in with the overall system of making sure your projects start right, and I'm going to give you an amazing reference which will change your life. So if you're into that, stay with us on this video. This is exactly what we're doing right now. All right, so reference class forecasting, what is it? All right, a reference class is gathering data from similar projects or relevant projects that are similar enough to yours to predict success, and this is what you do. Whether you are evaluating the overall budget or the overall duration, or the over-under for the budget or the over-under for the overall schedule, a reference class is taking historical examples and applying them to your project so that you can estimate the proper budget and proper timeline. Now the key here is that you should pair this with your risk analysis. In the book, and I'm already giving you the stuff I promise, we'll list this in the description below. In the book, How Big Things Get Done, Bent Flyberg and Dan Gardner talk about not only looking at risks, like every project we know, that we should be going through and saying what could happen, what could happen, what could happen, what could happen, and look for the risk, and then find a way to cover those. So you can either eliminate the risk through proper planning, you can cover it through contingency, you can absorb it, which nobody will want to do, or you can wishfully think that it will go away. This option number 4 is never a good option because wishful thinking or wish thinking is not a thing. If it's a risk, it's going to happen. So what you do is you estimate your days and dollars for each one of your risks, and you plan your project appropriately, and you make sure you're either covered, you've mitigated it, or you're going to absorb it from a business standpoint. Okay, so we understand that. That's not everything. Most of the time, human beings will say, well, my project is different, our team is different, our approach is different. It's not going to happen to us. I think it should be fine. The answer to that, or the response to that, is no, 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 no. No, stop it. Your project is not unique, you're not special, it's not going to be different. So anchoring, I call it anchoring to a reference class, where we say, these projects, like every laboratory goes over budget and schedule by 20%, right? For the last 10 years in this region. And you're like, I don't think I will. No, you're going to. So if you don't plan your project at that overage of 20% budget and schedule, you are in for a crash landing, you will hurt people, you will lose money, you will piss off the owner, and you will not make the date, and it will likely extend even farther. That is a historical fact. That's just data. So reference classes are key. Let me tell you right now how to go through it, and then we'll close up with some really cool information for how you can implement tomorrow. Well, actually, real quick, before I tell you the details, because oh my gosh, we've made a beautiful Canva graphic for you. But actually, let me tell you this funny story. So we were in Mexico and Guadalajara with our Lean Tech team. That's where most of them are. And we were doing a planning boot camp, and we were planning a project, and we were really driving home this concept of reference class forecasting. And Kate was like, well, what about the Lean Built project? So we have a construction company called Lean Built, and we build construction projects in Phoenix for a dedicated developer for the purpose of showcasing and researching and developing lean practices. And we're early on. The design team is submitting the site plan probably as we speak. They're already heading in. They're already in design development. At the end of July, they'll be in the CD phase. Like we are trucking along. We're going to start May 1st. And we took a reference class for previous projects and did the reference class forecasting. We did the risk analysis, and we created a macro, a norm, and a backup scenario, a strategy, and we talked to the developer, and I'll just tell you, we were like, okay, this is worst case scenario, an 18-month project at $200 per square foot. Okay, we think we can get it down to 15 to 17 without ever hurting trade partners, and we think the price can be as low as $185. So the point with a reference class forecast is to say, we've got to, our promises, our target, our contract must have the right end date, must have the right budget. Of course we're going to do better, but we can't undercut it and get ourselves in trouble. And so Kate, who's amazing, who's the CEO of the company, has this digger, 10th woman, like, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the movie World War Z, like dig into it, ask the tough questions kind of approach. And it's great. And she was like, well, how many did you have? And I was like, 6. And she's like, why can't we get 20? And I'm like, I think we can. And she's like, well, are you doing the reference class for what Elevate does or what the industry does? And I was like, for Elevate. And she's like, well, why are we doing that? Are you assuming that your project is different? And I'm like, okay, well then we're going to evaluate these projects from the industry, not just from Elevate's historical durations and budgets. And she kept digging and digging and digging. And finally I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even taking my own medicine. And so we immediately were like, we're going to get 20 minimum representative projects in our reference class. We're going to find the budget and schedule overages. We're going to use that for forecasting, confirm the overall duration and the number, and dig deeper. So one of the biggest realizations for me was that even though I understood the concept and I've read how big things get done, I wasn't deep enough. So we've completely rerouted, we've made this graphic, and I've decided to make this video for you so you don't make the same mistake that I did. So step number 1, identify a reference class. We would love it if you had 50, and by the way, the industry may not be there yet, but we have to head in this direction. I would love for you to have 50 projects in your reference class and at least 20 of those in your local region, in your local market. Now, you're probably thinking, J Money, this is not realistic. Let me tell you just a little bit more about this. I have seen over and over and over and over production specialists in multiple different companies, large companies, say, I want to track specific activities. I want to track specific work packages. I want to track specific tax wagons. I want to have a historical database. And it has never worked. No one has ever showed me it working. I don't even believe that I'll see it working. And if anybody sees this video and wants to prove me wrong, put it in the comments below and I will apologize to the world. But I think that's too detailed. We could start with at least tracking our projects. I'm asking everyone in this industry, every company, to start tracking your projects by program type and track your overages on budget and your overages on schedule. Start building that reference class so that we stop getting ourselves in trouble. So if you can't get 50 or 20 today, in 5 years, can you? The time to start is now. So the first step is to get a reference class. The second step is to establish the parameters. Inside the reference class, are you looking at the overall duration, the overall budget, or just the overages? What data are you looking at? What data are you looking at that is valid or not valid? Like if there was obviously like a force majeure act of God type of scenario, maybe you don't include it, but what are the parameters for budget and schedule, and is it aggregated in the right comparative analysis to where you can use it for your forecast? Step number 3, do a deep dive into the projects to find out the root causes so that you know the actual root causes that created the reference class forecast. What you will do then is 2 things. You will adjust your overall duration and your budget according to the reference class. And what I mean by that is you're going to use a normal distribution on that bell curve, not the fat tail, not the outliers, right? And you are going to adjust your overall duration and your budget to match the normal distribution, okay? But the other thing you're going to do is once you promise the end date, once you promise the right budget, you will take the research from these individual projects, look at their risks, look at why they had an overrun, and attempt to mitigate it through proper planning. Then you'll make any adjustments as needed and then put the project through, obviously per the book, multiple iterations, but through a risk review and a fresh eyes meeting to make sure that you don't have any wishful thinking, that you don't think you're different, that you're not doing any improper planning, and that you have the right anchors, the right reference class, the right duration, the right budget, and that you have the right risk mitigation strategy. So that's how you do it. And I am going to link you to, this graphic is so cool. I'm going to link you to the graphic in the description below. I also want you to read the book, How Big Things Get Done. Everybody in construction needs to read it. It's absolutely phenomenal. At the end of the day, if you do this, you'll have a better chance of executing your project properly, because remember, projects don't go wrong, they start wrong. On we go.